welcome everybody. It's 3:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started, even though people will be joining us as we get rolling. I want to present to you Callie Neal. We're really feel honored and gratified that she has agreed to do this dance webinar for us. And she's a Riverside native and went to high school and college in Riverside, UCR, and teaches at Poly High School. And she also has been a dance studio owner. And so I think the unique thing about this particular webinar, we've been doing quite a few webinars during this past year, but she is a peer presenter. And what's special about that is she has volunteered to present work that she thought was helpful to her colleagues. And so she's not paid for this. This is a labor of love. A lot of time and effort went into creating this, as you can imagine, and preparing. And of course, the county is offering it free of charge. Our goals today is that we have a variable audience, and so some people will come in that have elementary backgrounds, some secondary dance teachers because it's a tight-knit group, and some artists in residence. And so she'll be speaking in general terms to accommodate all of that. And we're really after a social and emotional experience today that we can let our hair down. It's the end of the day. We're going to be doing some participation, some dance moves together towards the end, so fair warning. Cultural relevance obviously is a big part of what we're going to be talking about today as it applies to dance. This graphic is a perfect example. So she's going to go through 6 different dance forms with us, and also how to integrate that into other subject matter. So like I said, if you don't have the worksheet, please take notes. It will be helpful to you. We're on a hard stop at 4:30 because of schedule conflicts, so we will definitely have you out by 4:30. And if we don't have time for questions, you can always email me. You can put something in the survey and we will get that to Callie, so she'll follow up with you. And this will be posted. I'll edit it, close caption it, and put it up on our Arts webinar page if there are things you want to go back and take a look at. So without further ado, I give you Callie Neal.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here. And I'll just add, if you are from a subject or a program that you don't feel like I addressed, again, just throw it in the chat and we will get back to you so that you can see that you can use this activity in pretty much any situation. Today, we are going to learn about cultural history through dance, which is my favorite way to look at history. Participate in a memorable experience that touches on multiple disciplines. And we are going to, sorry, I have to move everyone around, use dance to build a global connection. We're also going to encourage collaboration and critical thinking among our students by helping groups create a social dance using movements inspired by each culture that we discuss. So we're not trying to get students to mimic a specific dance. We're trying to allow them the comfort to use what they learn and inspire their movement. And just some important notes. We understand that no one knows everything about a specific culture. There are differences within cultures, even being African American. I don't know everything about all Black people, so there may be some things that we share, and we have students or audience members that have different experiences and information that they can share as well, and that's fine. I try to verify the information that I'm presenting or performing and make sure that we're not appropriating or offending anyone spiritually. I try to talk to someone I know from that cultural group. I know that's not always possible, or just using great sources for research. And I've shared my sources at the end. And sometimes we just limit the amount of information that we share or perform. I'm going to go all the way through the presentation before we break out, so you'll be able to see the slides really quickly with the sources, and then that way we won't forget to share anything. So as Louisa already shared, the handouts are there for you, or you can just take notes on each style. For example, whenever I hear about native dance, I think of bent knees, low to the ground. So just some notes so that you it'll help you when you're creating a couple of moves. And there are videos, video examples provided through the presentation. and you will come up with a variety of movements. I'm sure that will be different, but it's an example so that you can see it's not exactly like what you maybe would learn in a ballet class. And I think that'll make your students more comfortable that they can participate in this activity too. So the first thing about dance, although we can count in a variety of ways, a basic way that we use for counting in dance is in 8 counts. And you could share a song, or here's an example with a metronome to keep the beats. And this is just with even counts. So every movement would just get 1 beat. And that just depends on your class setup. When you dance to live music, you have the luxury of speeding up or slowing down. I was very fortunate at UCR and classes I took in RCC, we had live musicians. So that was really great. But there's also variety. This metronome is just a slower one, but here is an example of one that has some syncopation, so some variety in those beats. So you could add 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to your movements instead of just sticking to the straight 8 counts. And if you're using recorded music, you could be artistic and playful by using pauses in your movements. So when I share about native dance, I'm thinking of dances that are original to the land, the people that are from there before colonization, but we'll have some examples of cultures that are fused together as well. And in many cultures, dance is more than just movement. It's part of history. It's how some cultures share their oral history and traditions. So obviously we have many Native American tribes, and some are comfortable with sharing, but some of these dances are ceremonial, so they're very private. I'm fortunate, I have quite a few Native American students, so I get to enjoy learning about their cultures. And with African dance, we know there are thousands of tribes in Africa, and those dances can be social. They can be broken up into dances for male and female, and they utilize improvisation. Hula, which we see a lot now as a predominantly female dance, that happened with commercialization, but before, I learned from one of my students, it was a very male-dominated style. So some notes about Native American or native dances. They honor the land that the people are from. Movements can represent a wide variety of things such as nature or animals. Movements are grounded and there are syncopated rhythms. Some of them can be fun dances, they can be competitive, they can be ceremonial, and those dances continue on today. So just an example of how you could get started here, you could pause or you could do this at the end. And it's just 2 little movements that your students could come up with and that you all will be able to come up with. And this second video is an example once you get really comfortable with some of the dances.
Once people get comfortable with the social dances, then they have fun making variations, but to the same counts. For example, in the first 2 counts, you could just do 1, 2. But when people really get comfortable with different shuffles and social dances, they might want to mix it up a little bit, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So it doesn't break up the counts of the actual dance, okay?
So it's an example of variation. And Asian dance, so we're moving along. Maglalatik is a dance performed in the Philippines. The costuming is very important in this dance. And if you can see in the picture, those are coconut shells, and they're placed all over the dancers' bodies. And they will use the drumsticks or rocks to hit on each other's costumes. So it's very interactive. And it's also called a mock war dance. Some dances in Asian style dances, it's still the Philippines, have been heavily influenced by Spain. 2 of those dances are Pandango and Tinikling. All right, folk dance. So this is our chance to look at how much more dance came out of Europe than ballet, which is what we normally hear about. These community dances are common and were happening at the same time that ballet was developing. The dances represented the daily lives or the work of the people. Some of those dances are the Miserlou, Little Hazelnut, and round dances. The plin is a dance that originated in Brittany, and it was used to break ground while people were having fun together. This was a circular dance. It moved clockwise and eventually could break into pairs, so they had to make sure that they had an even number of dancers for that one. We still see some folk dances today, or we see them fused with other cultures, and I absolutely love that we get to see some things stay the same and some things develop into new dances.
So can you go back for 1 second?
Sure.
So is that an example of a move in a folk dance?
This is an example of what I thought of after reading this information. So your students don't have to research this specific style of dance. They can get an idea and put their own dance together. So they'll
of a move then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm giving the teachers examples so they don't think that they have to go up on point to talk about and share about ballet. Thank you. All right, ballet. So we're going to look at the progression of ballet here, and I really love the history of ballet and how it started with the dance of the nobles, and we can see it in the community now, and so many people have access to it. So this started with the European kings, and then it moved into being entertainment when the kings stopped participating and performing. And as it moved out into more access to the community, it was where the wealthy would go see theater, similar to opera. So it still wasn't something that common people had regular access to for a while. Ballet is a language for dance. So we use terms that were developed from ballet to talk about a lot of different styles of dance now. We'll talk more about that. It is a foundation for the community, for the dance community, and local theaters and studios really work hard now to make sure that students of all different backgrounds and socioeconomic status have access to it. Many styles of dance emerged out of rebellion to the restriction of ballet, such as body type or ethnic background. But even though those dance styles were in rebellion to ballet, they still used ballet terms to codify or explain dance, whether it's saying, sharing similarities to or oppositions to ballet. Ballet is light and airy. It's popular for its use of point shoes. When children want to enter ballet, they often imitate standing on their toes. Ballet is also known for its strength and flexibility, and a lot of the themes for ballets were fairy tales. So here I just held the same move for 2 counts so that it would give an example of being light and airy, even though we're not going to put on point shoes to participate.
Ballet style move then, or ballet inspired.
Inspired by ballet. Mm-hmm.
You have to teach the non-dancer. Thank you.
All right, Latin dance, one of my favorite styles. Community dance takes the stage, and one style we're going to talk about is the Argentine tango. It was a dance of commoners, and it was rejected by the elites until it started spreading all over the world. So once the tango was introduced in Europe and then made it back to New York City, which is our big performance hub, it ended up spreading all over. And now we see in our different ballroom competitions, we see tango, we see samba, which was rooted in Rio de Janeiro. And it is a partner dance, and it's popular during Carnival season in Rio, hence the beautiful costume at the bottom. And then I added dances of the Caribbean islands. They're still Latin dances, but this is a way where you can share with your students a different region of the world. So salsa has a history in Afro-Cuban music. I love Latin dance also because we see styles of music developing along with the dances. The footwork is fun. There's partnering. And we also have cha-cha-cha, which we often call cha-cha. And we've adapted that. You see that in some R&B performances as well. So it is considered a ballroom dance. It originated in Cuba, and it spread from when people used to go to the resorts in Havana for a vacation. It's a very beautiful city. And we also have reggaeton, which is a mix of reggae and hip hop rhythms. Some research says that it began in Cuba, some says Panama. So, and then I've seen research that tries to say Panama and eventually links back to Cuba. Dances of the USA. So we see a fusion of a variety of cultures. I think that's what makes it fun. And we have many stories. Different people get credit for different styles of dance, and then we'll see a debate somewhere else. Modern dance had a huge development in the United States, although we saw some of it developing in Europe as well. It's known for free movements. So this is a style that has a lot of opposition to ballet. Bare feet, a variety of costumes, and an exploration of a variety of cultures. And then jazz, a popular music style and dance style with syncopated rhythms, incorporates movements of native dance styles. And another style of dance that I've seen multiple stories on the history of is tap. I see a lot of history about it being rooted in African dance and enslaved people. And then I recently saw a claim that it developed in New York, where multiple cultures were all living together. So you have your Irish dances along with that too. So I think it's fun to look at the history and see what we learn. And then more on American dance. We have break dancing. I'm super excited that it's going to be part of the 2024 Olympics. Pop locking and hip hop, they've all continued to evolve since 1970. The evolution of these dance styles happened along with the music, such as other styles of dance have. And there are so many fun dances that continue to resurface. I often share with my students about the Charleston. I did a research project where it traced back to West African dance, like the moving arms. And if you're familiar with the Roger Rabbit, the Kid and Play, the Running Man, they all have ties to the Charleston. So you could think about what dance styles you would like to add or you want your students to share. And this is like our transition. Louisa, you look like you want to see that again.
I'd like to see them all again.
You're going to see them again. I got you covered.
I need a little review.
Social dance is my favorite. That's what I've been building all through the presentation. I think learning routines is fun, especially when you get them down really good and you can vary them. Shuffles have a history in line dancing, which is still danced to country and Western music. Some of the combinations have been adapted, like the electric slide, to other styles of music, like hip hop and R&B. A couple of examples of those are the Cupid Shuffle and the Giddy Up. So these are instructions that you would share with your students and that we are going to test out. You're going to make up 8 to 16 counts. You're going to decide on an order for your dance moves. So it doesn't have to be in the order of the presentation. We are not going to use music today unless you all are super fast, but your students would be able to pick a song to perform to. And if you are an English teacher, like I also am, then they could write a summary about their experience. Here's the moment you've been waiting for.
All right, so once your students come up with all of their moves, it should be 8 to 16 counts. The last movement should kind of turn so that they can keep going. I'm going to start from the side. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn 7, 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn 7, 8. And they can keep doing that around. They can teach each other, and I'm sure they will have a wonderful time. They can change the tempo, and this is something that will get them socializing, and they can use over and over as they create variations and make connections from which culture inspired them. So enjoy.
There you have it. I have lots of sources there, and then some suggestions for you. You can create a slideshow, and it could be all about one style of dance that you're focusing on. You could include more writing or more history, within the presentation. You could have the students create their own slideshows and teach the class, and those groups would take turns. That's my favorite. Having kids too. And then those videos, if you want them, they're available, and we're going to share this information with you. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Is that okay?
So the time to go to our breakout rooms. Why don't we go back to the title slide, or actually go back to the directions slide if you don't mind.
Okay.
And I believe based on our count that we can do 2 rooms. So there we go. So if it's 2 rooms of 6, does that sound right, Jessica?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do 2 rooms of 6, and we're going to give you 10 minutes. So you were saying 2 counts per person, right, Callie?
Yes.
Maybe it's a 12 count dance that the groups are coming up with. 12 count or better, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do. In just a moment, Jessica's going to put you in a breakout room with 6, and we're each going to do 2 counts. So you figure out what your move is, and then you put them in order, and then you practice it, and then we'll come back and each group will share, the 2 groups will share with each other. Okay, so Jessica's going to go ahead and put you in, and we'll see you in 10 minutes.
There they go.
And when everyone's in their room, we can go ahead. Can we type that into the chat, Jessica, those directions?
They're not going to see the chat, so I think I can broadcast a message.
Okay. Do you want me to dictate it to you as you're?
Sure.
Okay, I'll close that. Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Create 2 counts per person. Or each person create 2 counts of a dance move. Is that right, Callie?
Yes.
Then decide the order. Then string each 2 count together so you have a 12 count dance. Practice. Sound good?
Yes.
So, and then we'll bring them back and see how they do. And then I was just going to make a couple observations, and since we're recording this, we can put that together. So the little videos, I love those, and I think in future, if we're presenting this again, we'll have you explain like what I'm doing in each video. You know, like
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like for a non-dancer like me, that would be super helpful to know, like what were you going for? You know, like in the cha-cha, I saw that because I remember learning that. It was like, smush the cockroach, like you smush it. You smush it. So like a little bit of that, I think more helpful to a layperson. And then 2 terms, I was thinking, man, I wish, I don't want to interrupt you, but you use grounded. I know, but you know what I mean? Like sometimes some people it really throws them off, but grounded and syncopated. So what is a grounded move?
Talk about syncopated. I was in the zone.
Well, we could mention it when we come back. So grounded means your feet stay on the ground or as much on the ground, or is I making that up?
No, you're totally correct. So it's bent knees low to the ground. So I said it, but not right with grounded. I said it later, so they might not have made that connection.
Louisa,
Okay, that means, yes.
it's you said create 2 count per person. That way each person creates 2 counts of the dance move.
Yes.
Decides the order and then strings each count of.
String each 2 count together for a total of 10 to 12 counts. Depends on how many people are in the room. And then practice it.
For a total of 10 to 12 what?
Counts.
Counts.
I'm going to put it in, it wouldn't fit in the broadcast. I'm going to put it in the chat and then pop in with my camera off and see if they can see it.
And also, does it give a heads up when they have like 2 minutes left?
It'll let them know when they have 60 seconds left, but we can let them know as well if they have a certain time.
Maybe let's do a 5-minute mark.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I have a quick question. Was it each person in the group create 2 counts of 8?
Yes.
No, just 2
Okay.
counts. Not
2
2
counts.
counts of 8, just 2 counts.
And then however many people you have, you string all those counts together.
Oh, just 2 counts.
Yes.
2 counts.
Yes.
Oh, wow. We're going to have a whole, okay. All right. Perfect.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Is it okay if I stop sharing?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can stop sharing.
It was having you squished all to the side. So that's what I was having to do
I
with.
move that around when I'm presenting. I move the window so I
Me
can
too.
see it. So what was the other term that I was interested in hearing you explain is syncopated?
Yes.
Does that mean to the beat?
Syncopated, sorry about that too.
problem.
Syncopated is when you use the and counts. So the counts between the beat. So
Okay.
if I dance like 1, 2, 3, 4, that's just straight count. Syncopated is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's super helpful. Yeah. And then I loved how you have the video all together. You put all the counts together. You're like, I'm getting to
I
it.
wasn't gonna leave you hanging. Yeah, and I felt like I want kids and people to be able to enjoy the activity without having to be a dancer. And so,
Certainly. Yeah. You certainly don't have to be a dancer.
and I thought the videos would be helpful, even if the teachers don't use them.
Right.
But it's kind of hard to explain the purpose.
What is the web address for that? Maybe Jessica could throw that in the chat. What is your YouTube channel?
My YouTube is Callie Rich Neal, and it's on the last slide too. But
Okay.
and I put the names in that last slide because I wasn't sure how they were gonna have access. I put the name of each of the videos.
Okay. And
It's
just
like Dance Around the World 1, 2, but they could match it with the presentation.
yeah. Are you okay for us to send the PowerPoint of this out?
Yes,
Anyone who attended along with the survey?
yes,
Okay. That's very generous of you. Okay.
yes.
Do we have that, Louisa?
We do.
I sent it in a PDF. I was having trouble sharing it. So you have a PDF of it.
A PDF is fine too.
Okay.
Because then yeah. So, because we're tight on time today, Jessica, I'll send it to you in the morning, and then you can send the survey out in the morning if that works.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have it, but if you have it, that'd be great.
No, because we were reviewing it when it was in the second draft. So send Jessica PDF, goes out with survey in the morning.
Okay.
Survey. Okay, I'm dying to see what everybody comes up with.
So am I, and I think that you're so great for just having that idea to make it more interactive. And
Well, I don't know how you teach dance and not dance, you know?
Right.
If Jessica can attest to the fact that sometimes I've done webinars like on social emotional learning, and I did a dance where like I would play the music and you would, what's the feeling? And then you would dance that way, like the expression on your face, the movement, right? Like I would do, I'm only human, it would be slow, or I'd be like, I'm so excited. You know, you could,
Yes.
getting in touch. I mean, there's a real validity to getting in touch with how you feel through your body. Like,
Yes.
you know, how does your body express that? So, and I remember the first time I did it, I thought, no one's going to dance. Like, I'm going to do it. But it's kind of a relief, you know, all this time that we spend sitting in a chair. In fact, when we come back, I would encourage everybody to get up away from their camera, like, you know, stand up to do their dance for us.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know how you teach anything without actually, the arts is such a doing thing. You're creating, you're performing, you're presenting.
And now we're back in person, and my dance classes are the kids I know the most. Like when they came, I knew who they were because they're like cameras on, and
yeah, that's neat.
Really great.
How's the transition going for you?
It's good because I love being with the kids. It's a little nerve-wracking because it's like, is it safe to be here? Like
That makes sense. Yeah, it feels awkward. It feels a little scary. Yeah. But it's a transition just as much as going away from in person was a transition, don't you think?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know? But yeah, it's the arts is so collaborative that thankfully we're a bunch of creatives, so we worked around
I've learned a lot.
Right?
So much that I can keep with me as we go back to in person. It's like, oh, we can make videos too. Like
all the good parts, yeah. Take all the good parts, the tech that you learned the other way. I really like something like this. Like one of the gals is coming in from Santa Barbara. Someone else that signed up was from Las Vegas. That we can have everyone together much more readily than before.
Yep.
All right, Miss Jessica, how much time do we have left?
Sorry. We have a minute and 5 sequends. So
Here they
once that
come.
goes up, they'll have 60 seconds to leave.
Okay, it's crunch time. Go time. We're doing well on time, so that's good.
They are.
And like I said, if we share out their dances and give positive feedback, and then we'll go to Q&A and just remind them that the webinar will be posted and the PowerPoint's coming. So, awesome. By the way, I love ballroom dance. I never told you that, but I ran a program in Palm Springs called Red Hot Ballroom for 10 years and taught 5 dances a year and had about 200 elementary school kids compete every year. It was awesome.
I missed it.
I learned, like, I performed at that like 3 different times with our dance master. Of course, it took me 8 months to learn a 3-minute dance.
3 minutes is a long time, though.
Yeah, we did a tango one year and then a cha-cha and then a waltz last year. So I love dance. I'm not
There
very good
used
at
to
it.
be a live band downtown. This was years ago, but I loved it. And I love how if you get good at following and the guys get good at leading, you can dance with a stranger and just, I just love it.
Yeah. No, I used to, when my kids, I guess in high school, I used to go out to like salsa dancing once a week just to get out and do my thing. So I've always just gotten so much joy from dancing and learning. And it was never that I was very good at it. It was just that I love to move and I love to express myself that way. So
Yes.
thank you for all you do to keep dance alive and well in the schools.
Oh, it's going great. Our CTE program is like, it's moving. I have some connections with Loyola Marymount, and they're like, we want to partner with your kids to like mentor them. It's crazy. It's all coming. So
Wow.
here they come.
All right, here we come. Yay. I can't wait to see what we came up with.
Yeah.
Smiling. Oh. All right.
No, we're laughing at ourselves.
We're enjoying. Right. Well, so yeah. How do you want to do this, Callie?
What I would like to do is one person is going to be brave and volunteer their group. And if your group is not performing, then your camera's going to turn off. Don't disappear. That way we can focus on the people who are on. Hi, on stage. I heard a lot of good things about your studio. So who's volunteering to go first? And I know 2 people who don't make me just call you out.
Can we do it before I forget? Because my memory doesn't.
Yes.
Okay, Tina's volunteering.
You're in Tina's group. You're first. So if you're not in Tina's group, will you please turn your camera off? And then I'm so excited. Thank you. I know you're doing your best to be visible. They're so ready. So Tina, can you be the leader of the group?
Sure. Okay, are we ready, ladies? We don't have music, obviously. 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, step 3, 4, step 5, tap 6, 7, 8, step out and in, and forward and back, kick, ball, change, step, and pivot. Do we keep going?
Yes, please. One more time.
1, 2, 3, 4, step, tap, out, in, a forward and back, kick, ball, change, step, and pivot. Yes?
Well done.
Okay, group 2, you can turn your cameras on. Thank you so much. That was
Thank you, Tina.
awesome. I was like, kickball change. I didn't know if I could.
I know. Wow.
Nice.
Turn my camera off. Sorry. Okay, so group 2, are
right.
you ready?
Sure.
And who's counting?
Jennifer, are you the spokesperson?
I don't know about that, but okay, sure. I'm not even dressed for the occasion. Didn't know I was going to dance. Okay.
Either.
can't see you, Keisha. Back up.
Okay, ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it.
Yes.
Do we get an encore? Maybe we have an encore?
Oh, you did an encore? Well, and we put Bharatanatyam in there. Look at me. Saying
I
fancy
saw
words.
it. I saw it. I
See
knew
it?
that was going to be wild. I saw you.
We were very excited. We had a little, Indian dance. It's very fun.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So
we felt
that's
good about that.
how you could take one of those out and put that in. I love it.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was incredible.
There we are.
Louisa, did you want me to talk about those two terms? I remember one was syncopation and one was grounded.
Well, I wanted to know if you'd like to debrief with each group about, what they liked about the process, what was positive and helpful, and what would they maybe do differently if they were doing this with their own class.
Yes, so totally would love to hear from anyone who has some feedback on the activity, and like Louisa said, what you would change to make it work with your class or your group.
I like that it works online. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
It even works online, which is great, because I'm still have kids that are going to be online, and I have kids in class too. So you could do a breakout group online for those kids if you're doing both, in one class, even that would work.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I love that you only have to come up with 2 steps. That's it. You're not responsible for everything.
Mhm.
Just putting it in order.
That was my thought too, because I did a history of dance that then I blended it into history of hip hop. And I think I gave them too much, with each lesson. So I like that. It's just a little bit from each one. That takes some weight off my shoulders.
I do this with my classes all the time. I think it's a great way for them to be involved and be creative. Each genre that I teach, at the end of the genre is kind of their final exit to get out of that. And they make up a routine, and they all have to participate.
Any feedback on how you might do this differently, or how you do it differently?
We had talked a little bit about science integration because one of our team was a science teacher, and we were talking about not only taking some of the content of the cultural dances, but also then dropping them into another content area. And it seems really doable, actually, of blending. And I think kids are actually quite open to that kind of blending or intersectionality.
No, that's absolutely true, Peggy. And I don't know if you're familiar, any of you, of the program Dance Your PhD. That has been running for quite some time, and it's where PhD students create, choreograph their concept. And we did that in Palm Springs for a couple of years, very successfully, from first grade to high school. High school had a lot of fun with it because they'd really get behind the music and dancing. But the water cycle with little children, complicated things about DNA. So it's just really that UDL concept of, I'm going to give you more than one ways to show me what you know. And so dance is a really beautiful way to do that. So certainly moving forward with integration and STEAM, dance is so helpful for kinesthetic learners in a way that reading something on a page is not going to cut it. Yeah. Did you have a writing component that you wanted to talk about, Kelly? I noticed that was somewhere and I feel like I skipped it.
It was an option in the classroom if you want to have students write a summary. When I took dance, I went to Ramona High School, really Riverside native, and we had to journal every week, but I have those, I found them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I still talk like this. It's really funny. But you can make it heavier in either area. Dance can just be, like Louisa said, the water cycle. Dance can be a part of it, But if you want to get more of the writing, like they get to wiggle a little bit, but then it's like, write about what you learned, or do a little more research of its history on one style, or make one presentation, you know, and then the dance is a little bit, just a little bit of it. And you've talked about all these different aspects, more like an anthropology, you know, type approach.
Cool.
Well, I know we were talking a little bit while you were hard at work choreographing that because of our schedule this afternoon, tomorrow morning the survey will go out to you, and we will also send out the Callie's PDF of this so that you have all her sources and her resources. And we have a little bit of time for questions if you have any questions, but if not, I really just want to thank Callie for all the time, effort, excitement she had for sharing with her fellow teachers, and how much joy you gave me. I was teary watching you guys dance. It was so wonderful. So that was like the absolute best part of my day and probably my week. So I appreciate
Yeah, you
it.
should redo the video. If you use the videos were more for you to see, but if you want to use them, you're welcome to. But you could, some of you had some great stuff. You can put some of your own dancing in there. The kids would probably love it.
Yeah, I think we'll send it out in the email too. I think your YouTube site is, what did you say, Callie Rich Neal?
Callie Rich Neal.
Yeah, so if you want to find her little videos, that they're handy. So I think that's it. We're going to hang out a little bit, but thank you for your time. Thanks for being here, and thank you for keeping Dance alive for our students.